I'm back. 9 days on semen retention. I was going to make a semen retention video when I hit 1 month. But, a dude told me to make a semen retention video in the comment section. So, that's what I did. I'm back. I've been retaining. After that relapse, I've been retaining. A lot of dudes, and it's all right because I already knew that was going to happen. A lot of dudes bashed me when I was trying to be brutally honest about my relapse. You know what I'm saying? But I've learned from that. And I can say that to say the blood raw truth, that it was not worth relapsing. It wasn't worth relapsing. I'm gonna just be bold and honest. It was not worth relapsing. You know what I'm saying? I thought I was gonna feel much better, but I realized that it wasn't worth it. I should never did that. And for the dudes that was bashing in the comment section, a lot of y'all dudes was like, I'm not 20, 30 years old or 40 years old. Y'all was doing the most bashing in the comment section. Excuse me, at the age of 24, what were you doing? What were you doing at the age of 24? Because you knew nothing about semen retention. For all you 30-year-olds and 40-year-olds that was bashing in the comment section, what were you doing at the age of 24? Because you knew nothing about semen retention and you knew nothing about simping. Let's be honest. So I'm doing good to be a 24-year-old to have all this knowledge. I'm teaching guys about semen retention and female nature. Even some guys in their 30s asking me, where did I get all this knowledge from? My channel was about helping men, not bashing men like y'all tried to bash me. At the age of 24, you know what most dudes are doing? They're constantly relapsing. They're constantly relapsing. Most dudes can't retain on semen retention for a couple of days. I did 100 and something days for my first time being on it and taking it serious. But I can't say that it was not worth that relapse. I can't say that. And I've learned from my decisions. Now it's time to, it's time for a major comeback. It's time for a major comeback. Yup. I made a mistake. I relapsed. I thought that, I was going to gain so much energy or whatever when I did that. But I didn't. I should have just stayed on it. And then eventually, everything would have just came back. You know what I'm saying? I probably was just going through a long flat line. That I thought that it was something else during that time. But yeah, I'm back on semen retention. And I just want to say that I've learned from my bad decisions. I learned from that one mistake I made, that relapse. I've learned from that one mistake that you gotta keep, you gotta have faith. You gotta keep retaining. You gotta still just keep that discipline. Even when it seems like everything is just falling apart or you just feeling normal. Because that's what I said. I said I felt normal. I felt regular, But I'm staying on it. You know what I'm saying? And semen retention is no greater feeling than being on semen retention. I can admit that. When I relapsed, it wasn't worth it, man. It wasn't worth it. I sat and thought about it. I waited days later and it was like, but it's not worth it. It wasn't worth for me to relapse after all them, months. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of you guys thought that as well. But, some of I was being disrespected in the comment section and stuff like that. But it was from some dudes, they were probably in their 30s or 40s. You know what I'm saying? Some dudes that was in their 20s, they wasn't really doing that. They was just saying, you know, you didn't lose that much progress, but, you know, just get back on it. And this is what I'm about. This is what my channel is about. It's about semen retention and teaching about female nature. And it will continue to be about this. Or if I decide to switch it up, then I just decide to switch it up. But I'm going to be on semen retention now. I'm not switching that up. Now, you know, I'm not going to switch that up. I'm going to be on semen retention. Semen retention has changed my life. For 2020, you know, it took my channel, you know, my channel took off a little bit. You know what I'm saying? As far as my channel taking off, I'm meaning as far as videos. I feel like I got a decent amount of videos. They all over, excuse me. They all over 10 minutes. You know, I deleted that one that wasn't over 10 minutes because, you know, I just deleted it. But yeah, man, 9 days on semen retention. I still got the glow, man. I still got the glow. You know, I'm starting to feel better, you know what I'm saying, ever since that relapse. Even though I didn't lose that much progress, but I will say that relapse was not worth it. It was not worth it. You know, and I know I just keep saying this, but it's the truth. You know, semen retention is more important than relapsing because I felt some type of way, you know, during my semen retention journey. But this is a new journey. Even though I didn't lose that much progress, I still got a lot of semen in me, you know. But I would say to you guys, try to you know, stay on semen retention as long as you can, as long as you can. You know, as long as you can. Because most dudes can't, you tell them about semen retention, they're like, bro, they'll think it's, you know, they'll laugh at it. Or they'll be like, I'm not doing that. Most dudes don't have no discipline. They can't stay on semen retention, not for not even a week. They can't do it. They just can't do it. But I started my semen retention journey at a young age. At 24 years of age. I wish I would have known this when I was in high school as a teenager. But, you know, I didn't have the knowledge. I was lacking the knowledge. I was lacking the wisdom. You know? So now I know. To stay on semen retention, you know, I would say as long as you can. As long as you can. Because I could have stayed on semen retention for a whole year. I could have did it for a whole year. But I slipped. You know, I got, you know, I felt some type of way. And I slipped up. I slipped up. But I've learned. Life is a learning process. You're going to learn through your experiences. You're going to learn through your experiences. When you want semen retention. You're going to learn from your bad decisions when you're, you know, when you do something that you're not supposed to do. Hope you learn from it. And I've learned from it. So, you know, I've been on semen retention for 9 days. And it's going to, when I hit December 6th, it's going to be a whole month. Me being on semen retention. I think. If I can remember when I relapsed. I think I relapsed November 6th, I think. If I can remember. So December 6th it's gonna be a whole month on semen retention. I was about to say a whole year. It's gonna be a whole month on semen retention. So guys, I'm back. I'm starting to feel better and better as I keep retaining. You know, and my voice is gonna get a lot more deeper, like it was. Some of y'all can probably see the change in my voice that, it's a slight change, you know, after I did that relapse. And it wasn't worth it, bro. I'm gonna keep it honest with y'all. It is not worth it. So based off of my experience, if you're starting to feel regular on semen retention, let's say if you do 4 or 5 months, and you start to feel regular, guys, just stick out through the tough times. And I'm a living witness. I'm here to help you guys. I'm not here to criticize you guys for you relapsing, because a lot of dudes told me that they relapsed in my comment section. I just told them, get back on it. You know, I encouraged them. I didn't bash them. I encouraged them to get back on it and try to stay on it, you know, because it's better days up ahead when you on semen retention. Trust me. You guys got to keep retaining, man. And that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to motivate you guys. I'm here to teach you guys about female nature. I like to teach you guys more about female nature because it go hand in hand with semen retention. It's going to keep you on semen retention. It's going to keep you on focusing on yourself. It's going to keep you on focusing on your purpose in life. It's going to keep you saving money. It's gonna keep you from wasting your time on these females and wasting your energy on these females. So that's what I'm bringing to this channel. And you never know. I might do a vlog or something else on this channel. You never know, because your mind it changes as you get older. Your mind gonna change as you get older. So I started YouTube at the age of 20. I started YouTube at the age of 23, you know, and I feel like I'm doing pretty good as a 24-year-old, teaching guys about semen retention and teaching guys about my mistakes and teaching guys about female nature. I think I'm doing pretty good as a 24-year-old, because like I said, a lot of these dudes in their 30s and 40s, and there's nothing wrong with trying to teach, you know, trying to teach guys when you get in your 30s and 40s, or try to do a YouTube channel. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying, I'm doing mine at a younger age. So, you know, I have a higher chance on, I just feel like I'm ahead in life. I feel like I'm ahead mentally. I feel like I'm ahead mentally. I do feel like I'm ahead mentally when it comes down to semen retention and teaching guys about female nature. Because a lot of dudes, they're not doing that. They're afraid to show their face. They're afraid to put out videos. You know, they're afraid to say they relapse. They're afraid to keep it honest. They're afraid to tell the blood raw truth. But I'm not afraid to do that. Guys, stay on semen